There you go, everyone. Now you know. Oh, so funny. Okay, well, we will get started, and if other people join in, they join in. So welcome, everyone. I'm glad that everyone is here, and I am so excited to have Mandy Kemsley with us today. And just a little bit about why I reached out to Mandy. We kind of go with our gut, right? And so I don't really know Mandy well. Just better shut this off. Okay, just a minute. I just have someone asking how to get on. Okay, so I don't really know Mandy well. And, so it's always interesting on who our heart kind of reaches out to. I found Mandy on her new balance studio and her B class that she runs. And I'd kind of been aware of it. And I think you had mentioned it to me. I checked her out. Then I also met, I knew through association one of the other ladies who works with you at the balance studio. And then you put out about the B girl class and having a teen class. And when I read it, what it was about empowering teens and building confidence, I was like, oh, my girls need to go to this. And so I went to the point where I invited all their friends and, filled up a whole session so that my girls would go. I didn't even tell them. I just said, hey, you girls are going to this B class. And they rolled their eyes at me and they're like, Mom. And I said, and all your friends are going. And they're like, oh, okay. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it would be easy then that they could do that. And, they went to the first session and my one daughter came home and she walked in the door and I said, so how was it? And she was like, I don't want to tell you. And I was like, oh, and I knew why, but she's like, because you're just going to say, I told you so. And I was like, no, I'm not. She goes, okay, I really liked it. And so I just smiled and walked away. And so things that, I feel Mandy's energy and what she promotes. And so I am so excited just to get to know her more and welcome her here. And so Mandy, you're just going to start off, just start telling us about your journey and where you have been and kind of where you are now.
All right, so thank you. Can everybody hear me good? Not cutting in and out?
Nope.
Perfect. All right, so I just want to thank Kim for asking me to speak today on behalf of the Fascinating Female Friday event that she hosts. I'm truly honored and so excited to be here. My name is Mandy Kemsley, originally from the Lakeland, born and raised country girl out in the country, living in town her whole life, as my sister had asthma.
Is she frozen for everyone? Okay.
Yes, I thought it was me at first because I was messing around with my stuff. I'm like, oh.
Nope, you're good. You can show your face if you want. It's not you.
Well, I was trying to turn the camera on, but it's kind of bright. It was like very bad backdrop.
So I always wonder how long they talk before they realize that they're frozen.
Hopefully not too long. I think she kind of has bad service where she lives. Hey, she lives out.
She does, and she lives in a shop right now.
Mm-hmm.
What was for lunch, Nikki? I need to go find some.
It's like not very exciting. I have some leftover tater tots. Sent to school with the kids, so they're cold. and some fruit, a cup of tea.
Your own personal charcuterie.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
There's cheese involved. It's
Leftovers.
charcuterie.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you have the day off today, Jamie?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah, I did an assignment with my daughter this morning, and then we had to go pick up my other one from her exam, and went to the greenhouse, and then just went out to our own garden to check it out. And yeah, I do have
Awesome.
some work to do, but I'm like, I'm not going on while anyone else is around to bug me.
Yeah.
So
And
can
Suzanne,
do
how
it.
are you?
I'm good. I'm just in the office and everybody else is here today, so I'll just be probably a little bit quieter.
Totally, totally fine.
Which greenhouse did you go to, Jamie?
we went to Baby Cherry, and actually they have everything on like buy 5 get 5
Oh,
right now, except for like strawberries, which she said they have very few strawberries this year. But they have a charity barbecue for Kids Sport tomorrow. So I was like, oh, all right, I'm gonna go home and look around where I can put some flowers in, and then I'll come back tomorrow. And because I'm like, 10 is a lot, so I'm like, where am I gonna put these? So I'm like, we'll go home and look around, and then I'll go back tomorrow and buy like my 10.
I hope to think like you one day, someday, Jamie. I totally just would have bought the 10 and just been like, I don't know where they're gonna go.
Oh, well, I told myself I wasn't buying anything else this year, and then I'm like, but now it's a deal. I'm like, and they're all so pretty right now. So yeah, I probably should have, but it was also 11 o'clock when I realized we had this call and we were in town. I'm like, I have to be home by noon. So I'm like, if I would have been able to stay there for a little longer and think it out, or just, pick some, but I was like, no, let's come back tomorrow. I'll go home and look at what lived through all these last few days of rain and
Truth, yeah, the wind, yeah.
what I need to replace, and yeah.
It's a really fun place there though, hey? That greenhouse, like the music is pumping and it's just really good energy in there.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it is. I went in
I
and
think she's
sorry,
got
go
some
ahead.
great ideas for it.
Yeah,
What's that for?
the Soul new greenhouse. Yes.
Oh yeah, okay, thanks
Yes,
for
yeah,
sharing.
I know Carrie as well, and I went and got stuff from her too.
Yeah.
And she's doing cut flowers too. Like she'll be doing like bouquets, I
Okay.
think too, once she gets past her greenhouse stuff. That was her next plan.
Okay, cool,
Awesome.
cool.
Perfect.
Oh, hey, Mandy.
Hey, welcome.
Super short intro. You're welcome. My apologies. I'm trying a few different techniques that I've learned through my 7 months of Zoom teaching.
Yeah.
But even sometimes those don't work.
It's all good. You go.
So, all right. So I'm married 11 years to my sweetheart husband, Tom. And we share 3 beautiful babies: Emilia, 7, Slade just turned 6, and our Isla Lee, 3.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you're back. Maybe not.
It doesn't like all my techniques. Oh man, I mean, I could try with my. Do you ladies want to see my face? Because I could try with my camera off.
Yeah, we can try. We might have to if and we can take our cameras off too, because that might help. Let's try it and see. I do want to see your face though. I'm gonna maybe Nikki and I'll shut our cameras off and see how that works. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so that's who I am.
Okay, so let's just kind of start with give us a little bit of why B or why Balance Studio and kind of what led you to it, to be open to doing this.
Yes. All right. So my journey started when I was in university. I went to school for 4 years to do education along with speech language pathology assisting. And through journeying 4 years in university, I was actually diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. I've always had anxiety. Have I understood what anxiety was, or did I always just think it was a perfectionist mentality of having everything perfect, having everything neat, tidy, in its place? But through university and having a major change in life, which was the stress of moving, university itself, being away from home. I'm a super big home girl. Family is my everything. So yeah, it was an extreme change in step for me as I felt, oh, this is my normal, but is this normal? So yeah, I always had anxiety, but never truly felt out of control until I was in university and went to
Okay, we'll just wait a second.
Are you still there, Kim?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. I wasn't sure again if it's me either.
I don't know. Oh, there she is.
I keep bouncing off of like internet connections for some reason.
Okay, let's try, let maybe just try without your video on, and let's see if we can, if it'll work.
Let's try stop video. Okay. All right. Where was I?
University.
Yeah. So university. So ventured through, figured out who I was even more so. Moved back home with my hubby, and we had babies. So yeah, babies was a game changer. I've always, if someone was to ask me what I wanted to be in life, it would be a mom. So it was always my goal, my dream, my aspiration to be a mom. Like, did I have other life goals? Of course, but if someone told me that I had to choose one, it would be being a mom. So of course you prep yourself and you're all excited and your husband and you do all the planning that you feel is necessary, and then you have baby and you realize nothing is planned when you have a baby.
Yep.
And that is when I struggled the hardest with anxiety. I don't know if I would go to say it was postpartum anxiety, depression, or just major postpartum anxiety, which I didn't know was even a thing until I had babies. We talk a lot about postpartum depression, but we don't speak a lot about postpartum anxiety, which they do somewhat go hand in hand, but also very diverse in their own specific ways and hormones and imbalances and whatnot. So I had my first, of course, and struggled through it and loved every moment that I could. Not, of course, feeling as though this was me, not so many other women, but it was just me and something I had to work through and something that only I was feeling. and whatnot. So then came Slade, and again, same thing. I've obviously linked it majorly to hormones and everything that comes with being pregnant. However, that's when I decided, like, okay, I needed to take back control, take back my life, and really figure out what was making me feel like this. And as I did, I realized that postpartum anxiety is a thing, highly not spoken about.
Yeah.
I wish it was. So, what was an extreme eye opener for me was speaking with one of my dearest friends over a coffee date one day, and she also has 3 babies, and we were into our third babies by this point, and I've known her since kindergarten. So we went to kindergarten together. We went all the way up to grade 5 together. She moved away for her family's work and whatnot, and she just recently moved back into the Lakeland. And so our friendship grew and evolved and changed. And here we are today. We had a coffee date, maybe about, our thirds were little, so probably 2.5 years ago, and she opened up about her postpartum anxiety journey. And I looked at her, I think, with deer in the headlights eyes, and was like, "You too?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh." So then we both had an ugly cry
Yeah.
and hugged. And that was like the turning point in myself, that I said, wow, this is not spoken about. If I can sit here with a long lost friend who I felt I knew so well, and we share so many life experiences together, and yet we weren't confident enough to speak openly about something that consumed our life during one of the most exciting and adventurous parts of our lives, then how do other people open up about this and speak about struggles and triumphs if we ourselves weren't even willing to speak about it to one of our closest friends? So that was like an extreme eye opener for me, where they were like, wow, we need to change this mentality around silence. And that is when I was like, okay, I've always had a dream to do. I always felt at the beginning of my journey with OCD, I've always felt, why me? I would pin it on, why me? Why did this happen to me? Why just me? And I felt more alone, like it was just something like in me, of course, as everyone does that struggles with a mental illness or anxiety or whatnot. And then when she opened up too, and I was like, okay, maybe I was given this anxiety and OCD so that I could bring the knowledge forward to, like, maybe this is probably my slight intuition feeding
Yeah.
my brain of, it's not a why me, it's yay me. Like, I was picked to have it so that I could do the work internally and externally and seek the knowledge and the experience through living it, so that I could bring forward knowledge and experience to those around me who also struggle who do struggle in silence, or and need support through connection. So that is where I now found, again, this is my intuition talking, I always love those shower moments, people call them.
Yeah.
Where I always laugh at people say meditate, meditate, and I was like, I'm getting to know meditation more, which I'm so excited about. But I just recently discovered, like, oh, my aha moments happen in the shower. Like, that is my one silent time where I'm alone, no interruptions. I can just think, feel. You're in like your most real, raw state.
Yeah.
And I would actually, which made me laugh and chuckle today about being interviewed, Kim, because I would have these epiphanies in the shower of like, oh, one day I'm going to speak about my story, and it's going to help fuel other people to speak about theirs. And then it's funny that I'm here speaking to you today, and I was like, oh, that was my shower moment where I'm like, one day I'm going to talk about it.
Awesome. Is this your first time talking about it?
I've spoke more about anxiety and stuff. I don't tell too many people my true like OCD diagnosis. Again, that's internal work I need to work on, that I need to feel more open about it. And I know it's work that I'm so proud of myself how far I've come to just speak about anything in general regarding
Yeah.
anxiety and postpartum struggles. However, I feel the big epiphany moment was when my girlfriend and I had that coffee date where we're like, why did we struggle in silence? Why were we not able to feel comfortable enough, even with our closest like one of our closest members of our tribe, to speak about something that is so like that touched us so much in like a positive and negative way, that we didn't feel that someone so loving and supportive could support us through it, which was my like, oh, I need this, was my, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do something. And of course my youngest was little then, so I'm like, in the back of my mind I just kept having these shower moments where I'm like, yeah, this is my dream, this is my goal. One day I'm going to speak more openly. And then last November is when I'll now speak more about how I opened the studio. And why I opened the studio is I found the B class.
Yeah.
So I, with my dearest friend, Marielle Brimacombe, are we just friends? No, we we are neighbors, and we share the same driveway. We're literally, when she drives in her driveway every day, I see her headlights, and in my head, I'm in my mind and body, I'm waving to her like, hi. She doesn't know it, but I know she feels it. And one day we were just out for a walk. Actually, we were asked to go to our first B class out in Flat Lake. And she's like, do you want to do it with me? There's a big hype around it right now. I don't really know what it is. I just know a leader does it in St. Paul, so want to try it with me? And I was like, sure, like I'll try anything. So if it has to do with physical wellness, I'm like, yeah, I like working out, sure. And so we went to our first class, and if any of you get to know me better, you'll know I'm not a crier. I never was, but I just recently realized I think I don't cry because I'm a connector. So you have to, I don't express my emotion through tears. I express them through hugs.
Okay.
So I was in a B leader class with all of us girls one day, and we were all speaking our stories and truly feeling the realness of one another, and everyone was crying after sharing their story. And I was like, you guys, I'm sorry, I want to cry, but I can't. I need a hug. That's when I was like, oh, why do I give myself such a hard time about not crying when that's not my emotional release? My emotional release is hugging, like whether it's from my husband or whether it's from anybody really. All except this COVID thing was really hard on me, because anybody that walks into the studio, whether I know you or not, I will smile and I will hug you. So that's my emotional release. So as I went to my first B class, I was doing all the moves and feeling all the music. And there was one song called I Am Here by Pink, where I am, as you all get to know me better too, I am a very hard person to ground. I don't find, even when I am in my grounding mountain pose Tadasana at the beginning of B class, I still mindfully have to remind myself to stop swaying, stop picking up the beat, stop listening to the words, ground yourself and get in your mindset, because it's work that I'm working on, which I'm very excited about, because I've never really known what grounding was, because I've never physically allowed myself to feel it. So this song, if you seek out I Am Here by Pink, it's this one part where you're literally standing still while she speaks. There is 1,000 other places more worse than this. I am here, it says, and I'm getting goosebumps speaking about it right now because that was the first time in a long time I released through tears, and I actually cried at my first B class because I'm like, wow. It's a program that speaks more to your mind than to your body. So it's a movement. It was created by Tara Newbigging in 2009, a dear soul who lives in Canmore, who was on a journey to find herself. So she was on a journey to heal and find connection and to find joy and happiness again in her life. So she created this movement called the B class, which is a movement to be you, meaning we want women to feel connected to themselves and to their community. So her main 3 goals are community, connection, confidence. And it's because what I've learned through my struggles with OCD and anxiety is connection. I needed that connection, and although I felt a lot of exterior pressure from, the environment and society being like, you're a stay-at-home mom, you should love it, you get a year off, you get to enjoy staying in your pajamas and loving on your baby girl. And I'm like, yeah, but a lot of times we forget what people's backgrounds are, and my background was a speech language pathologist assistant.
Right.
I spoke for a living. I like connection. And although I loved my baby girl, I felt like alone. Like I lived 30 minutes from town. She was born in October. It was dark. Days were short. Husband worked away. I felt like, is this me? Why am I not loving this stay-at-home routine? But I like doing my hair. I like going out.
Yes.
It was a big change in me that I was like, oh, this, and I felt guilty. I felt, why am I not loving this that everybody else loves? And now I embrace the fact that it's like, hey, you don't have to love every aspect that it doesn't make you. That's not who I am. I'm a very like busy, active, go type person. So now I just transitioned to being a stay-at-home mom who just goes, but with little feet in tow.
Yeah.
So I've definitely found my balance. So yeah, through the B class, learning about community connection and confidence and finding the beautiful soul Tara, I was like, it spoke to me immediately after class. And Mediel about a week later was like, I want to start leading the B class. Do you want to do it with me? And I was like, yeah, like I've never thought of leading it. I just thought, hey, and then the more I sat with it at home and realized, hey, this is what women need. And although I've always loved physical activity, I've never found something that was a release for my mind. So I've tried yoga, I've tried meditation, and although I'm starting to truly love and enjoy them more now, I can't say I could ground myself enough to stay silent and stable without moving for an hour, which is why B really spoke to me, because it's more women empowering songs that allow you to move to choreographed movements, but the feeling and emotional release comes through like the grounding and the reset and the release songs that make you feel and heal, like I like to say, is because a lot of women after class I've had who will cry after class and they're trying to quickly wipe their tears away after Shavasana, and I open the lights and I'm like, and they all apologize. It's crazy how our society is geared towards apologizing for emotional like release and being who we are. And I was like, please don't apologize. And they're like, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm like, that's good. You don't need to. You had a moment where you released energy and emotion that what you didn't even know you built up. And when someone cries, I smile because I'm like, that I did what the movement is supposed to do, in the sense that it's just there for you to be you and to express what you need to feel, even if you didn't even know that it was built up inside of you. So yeah, so that was my journey with B. So then I was like, okay, you know what? I need to go farther. I need to dig deeper. Where I've heard this quote that says, out of resistance comes strength, growth, and soon gratitude, which I held dearly to my heart, because I'm like, out of resistance. Amanda, should you open a studio? Amanda, should you open a studio during a pandemic? Amanda, should you should you go for your goal and take out a loan and try to do a movement of this with 3 young babies and a husband that works long hours and whatnot? And that was my resistance pull, that I'm like, no, you know what? Why not now? Why not this year? Which I am so grateful, and my gratitude has definitely shone on some moments when I've needed it, where having a talk like this with you and expressing my story and having youth come into the studio, and there's always a timing for everything. And I feel, although, rent wasn't easily paid through a pandemic year of opening a studio, it was a year of extreme growth. And I find it was a year of finding people like Kim and youth in the community who may have been too busy to seek out something like a new program in the Lakeland, where it gave them the opportunity to, while other things were maybe shut down or school sports weren't open. So it was, yeah, it's finding those aha and those sunshine moments where you're like, yeah, this was meant to be. And it was, and I'm so grateful for Balance Studio, as I opened it as a space for women to come join as a community, where we can build connection and confidence within one another, but more importantly, within ourselves. So a space where women can come and we can just be. So we explain it as just being you. So every day is going to look different. Every hour is going to look different. You're going to feel different, and that's okay. I don't want women feeling they need to come to exercise, or they need to come with their best sneakers on so that they can give themselves an hour of of cardio or an hour of sweating. I want them to feel they're putting on whether it's your sweatpants or your Lulus or your shorts, whatever you're comfortable in, you're putting on, and you're not even wearing shoes. It's actually a barefoot program that we encourage you to do barefoot, so you feel the grounding within yourself, so that you're coming to just be. You're coming, whatever it looks like, whether you're driving to the songs, whether you're going all out, whether you're crying, whether you're just stable and strong that day. It's going to look different each and every day. So it's a space I wanted to create for women to just come be. And I put a coffee room and whatnot in the front, because I'm a people person. I'm a connector. I don't want women to come for the hour, pay for your spot, and just come do your workout and go home. I want you to come do your workout and then sit with me and chat with me and learn about each other. And I think, again, it goes back to that moment with my dearest friend, where I'm like, wow, we don't talk enough. We get busy in our lives, and we think, hey, we can learn everything through all of the amazing resources on the internet, yet we don't learn connection or human activities through one another on the internet. So I want women to come experience, be, socialize, connect, and just sit with me. If you want to talk that day, you don't want to talk that day, you want to listen that day, just a space where they don't feel like they're there for the 60 minutes. They're there for their night out, may it be, or they're there for their social women empowering evening that they can look forward to once or twice or a week, month, whatever it is, whenever they can squeeze it in just to come be. So yes.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
just amazing, Mandy. I feel like, we are definitely kindred spirits. I feel like you have said my whole life, just, from your body, from your mouth, not mine.
Excellent.
So many similarities. And I just find that, I feel that you're so connected, and this is why I reached out, in the same energy as female change makers, just that, I am all about community, and this is what this part is, bringing women together to support each other, to listen, and to have accountability and the guidance, to have that one place that you can go, that you feel safe, and then to be able to connect to yourself, to be able to connect to others, which then builds the confidence. And so, oh my gosh, my heart is just like exploding right now. I thank you for allowing us to hear that, your story, and that your vulnerability. And this has always been my thing, is that I had to go through what I did so I can help others heal, which is with my postpartum depression and anxiety also, which, we will have to have coffee, tea one day. But anyhow, you are definitely a female change maker. And so what do you do to look after yourself now that you have found that, I'm here to serve others with what I have learned, but we also learn that we need to support ourselves to be able to do that. And so what are your take care strategies?
Yeah, so my take care strategies, I've heard amazing quote lately that solidified, because I've often had those questions of people asking me, what do you do to have an emotional release, or what do you, and of course I'm always like, B class. I love my.
Yes.
But then I was like, okay, Amanda, go deeper. You do more than you've always done more than B class. B class has only inspired your life for the last year and a half. What have you done? And I've always thought in my head, well, I don't do yoga. I don't meditate. I don't what I'm like, okay, so change the question from what don't you do to what do you do?
Yeah.
I realized just recently from hearing a quote from Dr. Wells at a conference I had, listened to him, and it was a perfect fitting for what I do is I slow down to speed up.
Yes.
And when I heard that, I'm like, wow, okay, so and like I said, with anxiety, most people are very like, la, 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 all the time. But I was like that even before I was diagnosed with anxiety. And that was just my personality. If you see me in a room, you will be like, yeah, she doesn't stop moving. Even when her feet are not moving, they're actually moving. So it was like a epiphany moment where I'm like, slow down to speed up. So I've really consciously been, and I realized just from hearing that too, that when I slow down, my slow down is walking in nature. Like I've never realized it was my medicine, but it is. My husband, I'll say it's like 8 o'clock. Where are you going? I'm like, I'm going for a walk. Well, where are you going for a walk in at 8 o'clock in the country? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a destination, but I don't need one. I'm just going to what Dr. Wells calls forest bathing. And I'm like, yeah, that that was always, I guess, what I'm learning more about intuition is that was my intuition too. When I need to release and reset, I seek nature where I don't want anyone to come with me. I don't want to talk. I don't want to have music in my ears. I don't want to have my phone. I want to walk with no destination. Our lives are so geared towards having a schedule, having somewhere to go. If you get in your car, where are you driving to? Sometimes of course, when you get in your car. I'm not, sometimes I will aimlessly just drive the countryside because you learn about knowledge and your environment and stuff just through seeking out what's around you. So I find almost nightly or when I can escape, I forest bathe and I will just walk. We have a lake close by and I just sit there, and it's amazing how some people might. I always think if you were a bird on my shoulder or in a tree, thinking they would be like, "What is she just doing sitting there?" And it's amazing what you can learn just through sitting in nature and not having the outside world speaking in you, through you, from your phones and media and just as simple as just noise. I like to just say noise. Like, of course, having 3 busy young children, it comes a lot from my children, but it's just, even if it's beautiful noise, sometimes it's just noise. And we need to just, I personally need to find space where I can just be present, even if I don't know what present means, whether I can slow my mind. And I've given myself grace on not being able to slow my mind because it's an ongoing work with me, which I'm very excited that I am putting in the work and effort to be more mindful. But I've given myself grace in the sense that I tell myself, Amanda, you don't need to forest bathe and have your mind stop, because with anxiety, telling myself to make my mind stop makes my mind think more because
Yes, I totally get it.
it is making me, even if I'm trying not to think about anything, I am now thinking about trying not to think about anything.
Yes.
So I give myself grace on saying, don't tell yourself to not do something, just don't tell yourself anything. And it's amazing how I can slow myself and my mind down by not actually trying to not think about something, because if I'm thinking about something when I'm out walking, I can come to a solution or not a solution quicker and be like, yeah, I'll get back to that tomorrow. Sure. And then my mind's not stuck on it because I've let it go, because I'm not focused around, okay, this is my 20 minutes. This is my 20 minutes without noise. Use it wisely. What am I going to do in it? What am I going to solve? And now I'm like, no, these 20 minutes aren't anything. I don't put the stress on use your time wisely, you'll always hear. And I'm like, sometimes it doesn't need to be used at all. And that is when we will gain the most success in the 20 minutes or the half an hour we have to just say we're just going out to do nothing. And it's amazing. You'll come back with all this clarity and confidence and like, oh, wow, I know what I'm going to do with that now. And that's not even what I went out to seek.
Right.
So it's in that like slow down to speed up moment where I'm like, wow, when we really take those moments to slow down with no guidance as to what it's going to look like or what we're going out to do in our walk or our forest bathing, we're just going out to be, as I like to say, we actually in turn will speed up, because we will solve that one problem that was a big problem, or we will solve those small problems, or not even solve, but just make aware of what they are, how we can achieve them and possibly move forward through them, or maybe not. And being able to sit with the fact that you might not is okay too, instead of having the struggle of feeling stuck and feeling like we need to solve it when sometimes things solve themselves. So yeah, that is my one way I would say I connect and I feel yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And again, I am a tree lover. And I grew up in the prairies. And so when I moved up here, I am so like, I just want to live in a cabin that is completely surrounded by trees. Like I agree. I'm just so compelled by them. And so I love to say forest bathe. Can you tell us who is the name of the man that you were saying who gave you that?
Yes, so you can actually seek him out on Facebook and Instagram. His name is Dr. Greg Wells. So he just recently had Zoom call that I listened to, and it was speaking about speeding up, slowing down to speed up, which was like it just resonated with everything that like I am and how I again internalized my own thoughts and my processes. Like I said, if someone said, how do you slow yourself down? And I'm like, well, I don't. But I'm like, Amanda, you do. You just don't give yourself credit for those walks that you may take in nature that you just think, oh, I'm just taking the dog for some exercise. No, I actually truly now realize I seek out those moments. And it's not, I don't want to go to town, or I don't want to go listen to music. I just want to just go in nature. I just really want to just be surrounded by these beautiful, natural, tall beings of 70 feet gorgeousness. That it's just amazing how we can learn so much through something as simple as a tree. And how I love the quote of like in fall that a tree can teach you the true meaning of letting go in fall when their leaves are turning and falling. And I was like, oh, it's true. The true beautifulness of letting go, which I loved when I heard, because I'm like, yes, Amanda, you need to let go more. You need to speak your truth. You need to be authentic and real, because other women need to hear it and feel it, so that they too can let go and be their true, most authentic self. So that's where balance stemmed from. And my logo, a lot of people just think it's a logo of trees, and it's actually 7 trees in the meaning of balance that all have their own individual meaning of empowerment. So like the maple tree is the tree of balance and finding your grounding, your stability. Oak is the tree of character and finding who you truly are. The spruce tree is the meaning of women of goddess, actually. So it's the creator of goddess and protector of women. The pine tree is, I believe it's actually connection. I have to look back at my of what they all are truly, but I picked the 7 ones that really spoke to me. And pine tree, I believe, is connection. And there's an ash tree as well in there, and they all have their own individual meaning. And then the horizon through the balance logo is actually your arms out, feeling the air, feeling the connection, being grounded to yourself, and your arms open wide, accepting what the universe has for us. And the reflection on the water is us looking at ourselves through a mirror, through other people, but most importantly through our eyes, and seeing our true reflection of what we are and what we can embrace in ourselves, and who we truly are and need to accept ourselves as being. So yeah, that's where my logo of balance came from. And of course the name I'll often hear is balance. That's cliche.
Yeah.
And I love hearing it, because it is maybe cliche to some people, and some people will say our balance is a 7 letter swear word, because there's no such thing as balance. And I explain it as coming from a time of severe postpartum anxiety and feeling so disconnected and so unbalanced. That balance has always been my one word that through my journey I would go back to, is balance. Amanda, find your balance. And I never meant like it had to feel 50-50. It just had to feel, it had to be above ground, is what I would explain to people. So it had to, whether you're at a tipping point of 70-30, you're still at 100%. It doesn't have to look like a 50-50 split. You're 100% balanced. Find your feet every day. No, like you're going to have 95% of your days in what people would consider an unbalanced state. But I feel like it is my balanced state, and I am always balanced each and every day, but it doesn't look the same. It doesn't look like a 50-50 split of consciousness, of balance between my family life and my social life and my my business life, it can be a 30-30-30-10 split. It'll always be different. It'll just be balanced within you 100% of the time, giving it your all and being above ground when that comes from the grounding part of feeling so unbalanced to the point where I felt so disconnected from myself because it was a struggle to always feel, like people say, balance. And it's like, no, your balance doesn't have to be, you can still balance on one foot, even slightly tilted.
Right. Yes.
Still be up above ground, not on the floor. So, and that isn't a 50-50 split or 100% with both feet grounded. It can be 1 foot up, 1 foot out, slightly tilted, and you're still above ground and you're still breathing and you're still here. And that is where my balance came from. So I love the word. It inspired me to find my balance no matter what it looks like. It's always giving myself 100%, whether it is 99% at a failing rate that day and a 1%. I am still breathing. I am still above ground. I am still persevering. So yeah.
Yeah, that is for me, balance. I always say, it's, if we want to be in balance, we have to have that awareness of when we're going out of balance. And, so sometimes I'll call it like we're balancing, because as soon as we feel that we're getting a bit off balance, we become aware of it and we make the changes we need so that we can get back. So we don't completely fall over, right? We recenter, we reset, and then balance again. So yeah, that is a beautiful way of looking at balance. I am just like so overwhelmed with your message. Like, it's just, and I mean, you're just like, you can tell how passionate you are about it and that you have lived it. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and just to pat yourself on the back and be so proud of where you have come from, what you have done, your awarenesses, and now what you are teaching other women. And yeah, I can see you telling this story many, many, many times in the future, because that's massive, massive impact that you have. I would love to open it up to everyone else. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Mandy? Here's some birds.
Oh, that's
oh,
me probably unmuting.
Yeah.
I thought I lost you guys there for a minute.
Okay.
Lots of thoughts going through my head, I guess, as I listen. That's a one great story. I just keep thinking it is interesting how, again, you and Kim are aligned. To think when you went to university and you had this, thought of being a teacher, we all think of, you're going to go work in a school and teach kids, but to see how you guys have kind of almost taken that full circle, that teaching isn't just about teaching kids. It's, the rest of us all need some lessons too. So, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Question for you. Do you do like, I don't want, I guess, private bookings, so to speak, like, with your classes, with the B classes, or is it, a session, like you sign up for like multiple sessions, or how does that look?
Yeah. So great question. No, we definitely do private bookings as we feel at the beginning. Of course, it's always like you're going into a new space, you're going into a new group of women. So private groups are always a great place to start, because I feel you get the most out of B when you're with a like your safe space, right? Your safe place and your safe group. So I find that when you have a private class with even 2, 3, 4 of your closest friends, you get to truly get the authenticity of movement to be you, because you can be open and more of yourself within the space. So it's definitely, yeah, we do private bookings whenever you wish, to be honest. Evenings are free, weekends are free. So yeah, if you have a group of girls, who
Yeah, and I guess maybe the reason I kind of asked too is I think I have a university age daughter, and I
okay.
think it's just a very, again, during COVID and everything, it's a very tough time for them, right? They're not in school anymore. So some are working, some are, in school, maybe from home, however that looks. They're not going out with their friends as they maybe should be in university. They're not, in sports anymore. They've kind of disconnected from that. But again, to go join a group of women maybe wouldn't be that um, comfort zone either, per se, because they're at a different age group or whatnot, like it's just they're in that weird awkward stage, I guess. So, thinking like if I can get them in the same room with a group of friends, that they just, again, they're in that kind of post high school, like I said, not quite adults yet, as they're dancing around me in the kitchen.
think that
Anyways.
Kim can maybe speak more of her daughter's experience with the teen B class, but I think I've learned that through my experience too, is you think, oh, you need the guidance and you need the connection and you need the knowledge seeking as youth. And then, oh, once we become these adults, we don't need to seek anymore. We know everything. And through my experience with postpartum anxiety, I realized, wow, like sure, you geared yourself and seeked knowledge on how to be the best mom you could possibly be, but you can't seek resources to learn about what it feels like to live postpartum anxiety. There's no resources or books that teach you how to be a university student not in university, right? Living through a pandemic. And I love opening it up to the B class teen as well as Girl BU program I run for youth 7 to 12, because even small struggles are still big struggles in some people's eye, in possibly your eyes, right? So even the struggles that your daughter in university has will look different than struggles that we have as adults. But even my youth girls, yesterday we had a session, and the session was based on setting fear on fire. So we had to write one of our fears that we each had. And of course, my fear looks extremely different than an 8-year-old's fear, but it was still a fear for them nonetheless. And crumpling up the paper and lighting our candle, which resembled lighting fear on fire, was just such a empowering moment for them to say, yeah, I can do this. I can, because we all have those moments. And I have a cousin who's lost her dad and she is struggling right now too. And on my days where I think I'm struggling because my anxiety geared up or I'm thinking too much, and I was like, Amanda, everybody has their struggles. And I think that's what we forget as women is social media likes to portray that we don't have as many struggles as we do, but everybody does, and they all look very different every day. And that's where I'm so intrigued and so inclined to run the program for all ages, because even though it looks different, we all have struggles, and your daughter's struggles, whether it just be a failing math exam or whatever it is, right? It's still something that she might hold on to in her mind that's mentally blocking her ability to succeed in her day to day. So I just love the B class for just the release that it promotes and encourages for women of all ages. So yeah, absolutely. If you want to book in a teen B class for her, or I mean, she's an adult now too. So if she wanted to have a private class with friends or even come to an adult B class, by all means, she can join one class that we have as a pop-up, or you can definitely contact me and we can have just a session of, and again, I'm all about B, whether it's 2 people, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 15, like I'm the type running Balance Studio that I'll drive 30 minutes to town to be with ladies, regardless if I'm with 1 or 3 or 20, because the connection is still there, and the connection that you feel in class, even with 1, is empowering. So absolutely, I will. I would love to have a class.
I'll talk to her. Like I said, planning a girls' night or something. I think that just would be really good. That age group, it's they're in that struggle of figuring out adulthood.
Yes.
As opposed, that transition from high school to adulthood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jamie. That's a great question. Anyone else or any other questions? Comments?
I'll speak. So, Mandy, like, thank you for sharing your story. You're such a beautiful person. Oh my God, I want to cry. So, Mandy has, she's made a really big difference in my life too. And I don't have a lot of words, but this movement that she's leading is like, there's nothing like it. And it's such a release for the body, and it's so amazing to have a place to just show up and be and to dance. Like, I love to dance and I love music, and I'm really grateful, and I hope to be a bee leader one day. Like, I truly I want to share it with the rest of the world, because it's such a gift. And I get that it's a little bit scary when you're choosing something and you don't really know what it is, but um just speaking from my heart, like, it's absolutely worth showing up to a B class and letting her buck. So my very first B class I cried through the whole thing. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, oh my God. So then the creator, Tara, that Mandy was referring to, she came to Bonnyville and they had a 1-day retreat, and it was a pivotal day in my life. It was a very beautiful day. I got to play my bowls and gift a sound bath to lots of bodies, and I don't know. It's just belonging. It's community. It's, yeah. So thank you, Mandy, and I'm really grateful that I know more of your story now. Sorry, I'm falling apart.
Oh, don't be sorry. Remember?
Don't be sorry.
Never apologize for being you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Nikki. That's beautiful. And yeah, I think just sharing our stories is that is the impact, right? Whether it's Mandy sharing her story, Nikki, you sharing yours, and how we're all impacted by each other. And that is, that goes to that community again, right? And how important it is that we find our tribe, and then try different tribes to find what you need, because we can all have many different places. It's just seeking out and then going to those places when you need them. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Anyone else have any other questions? All right. Well, Mandy, I just honor your light, and I am so grateful for it. And I look forward to getting to know you better, and connecting in person. And if anyone has any questions, you can find Mandy. Just tell us where we can find you, Mandy.
Yeah, you bet. So you can find me on my Balance page, Balance Studio Bonnyville, balance.studio.bonnyville, and Instagram. As you will see from seeking me out, I am not extremely active on social media, as I am navigating through learning the immense resources and anxiety that goes with running online, like promoting online. So by all means, I am, like I said, I seek connection, so by all means message me on there. But I love phone calls. Like, if you seek me on there and you want to talk, or you want to, I am more than willing to speak with anybody, just if it's just a phone call. Like, I found through the pandemic, people would text me and then I would call them right away, and they'd be like, "Oh, hi," and I'm like, "Sorry, I want to hear your voice." Because I don't want to read words. I read enough words on social media. I want to hear your voice. If I can't touch you, I want to hear you. So So absolutely seek me out on social media. Don't get discouraged that my page isn't updated regularly, as I seek connection, and I seek people more than I seek my Instagram page. So by all means, send me a message on there, and then I can shoot you off a message or my phone number, and we can chit chat, or we can message via text, and yeah, chit chat that way for sure.
Beautiful.
Mandy, this
Yes.
is Suzanne Appleby calling. I'm work with Community Futures, and I would really like to connect with you for just to talk about what you do and understand it a little bit more. And I think that I can maybe even give you some help with that social media part of it, also.
Oh, absolutely. That would be amazing, Susan.
Yeah, because I don't understand what a B class is, but like I said, I'd like to just do a phone call or one-on-one and really get some information about it.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. I also like, I don't mind if, I don't know, Kim, if you were, I read on one of on the chats that said having like a female change maker, B class. And
Yeah.
I don't know if Nikki can talk more on this, but I can totally describe it to you, Susan, in the best way possible. But it's a feeling. I don't know. Like I said, if Nikki can touch on it, it's even when I went to my first class, I'm now getting goosebumps talking about it, because it's bringing back that feeling of it's a class that's very, it's a feeling, it's a release, it's a reset, it's a grounding, which is why Tara makes it the way she does, with the grounding at the beginning and the barefoot, so that you're feeling your footsteps and your movements, and you're connected to your body. And it's just such an empowering program that I would love to host a complimentary class for women who would just like to come try it, come feel it. It's like I said, I would love to explain it as much as I can in words for you, but it's definitely a feeling class that is definitely described best through doing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
I agree, Mandy. It's really like words don't really do it justice, but it's like it's like going to the club, like when you were young, and that was really fun when you'd go to the club and you dance, like that frequency. It's so it's this big open space, and Mandy has some beautiful matting on the floor. And I say that because I noticed a difference when we were doing it virtually, that like my pelvic floor and my ankles were getting sore at home on the cement. So Mandy has some type of flooring in there that really supports the body, and she chooses beautiful songs, and you dance like you're dancing. It's dark, like, so don't worry. And you just move and you flow and you feel the music, you feel the lyrics, and you connect your mind, body, and spirit, and you walk out of there feeling very fine. Like you feel really amazing after it. It's yeah. So we should
And
definitely make this happen.
are the restrictions lifted that you're able to have? Like now you're back in studio classes? Is that?
Yeah, so we're back in studio, still distanced 3 meters apart, but within the space I can still host 13 women with,
Oh wow.
yeah, with 3 meters apart. However, I believe coming June 28th, if all goes well, I believe we're at 69.9%. We need to be at 70, that I will be completely open, and we can jam that room full of beautiful, empowering women. So yeah, so at the moment I can have 13, which is still more than enough space to feel. And yeah, again, it's a very non-judgmental, safe space for again, it's the first class is always like, ooh, what am I doing? I have to follow her moves. I have to, and you'll see when you do a class with me that a lot of people will just be like, oh, you just like you just move and your eyes are closed sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, because it's more of a, I don't even learn the choreography anymore. I feel the choreography. So it's just the movement of just, yeah, being present in your own mind and not focusing as much on what I'm actually doing, that eventually after, I know again, maybe Nikki can speak on this because she's come to multiple classes where after the beginning is always the first maybe intimidating, where it's like, okay, well, it's a fitness class. I have to know what I'm doing and I have to follow what she's doing. And it's a movement class. So it's a movement to get your body moving so that you can get your mind steady and your soul happy. So yeah, it's a feeling class. I like to explain it as.
Yeah, that's
Agreed. And I
amazing.
think that Tara said it was emotions. Like, how did Tara describe it? Like, and you know, her when Tara the creator came down, she was like, have you ever felt so many feelings that you wanted to turn them off? Yeah, pretty much every day. So it's like your feelings moving through your body. So instead of them being trapped, it's we're just releasing them. So that's probably what has me hooked on it for sure.
Which is
Yeah.
also probably why some people will express through crying and whatnot is, again, like I said, it's giving yourself that permission to be. So you may have cried at home, but with the noise and the space of your kids around and your husband talking about this or that or what's happening next week, last week, presently, you don't give yourself that time to be. So it's just like I said, I encourage women to come not for the hour, not to be not to come for the physical aspect or come for the physical aspect, whatever you are feeling that day. It's just, I don't want you there only to come, for the, like, to just strap your shoes on and go for the hour. I want it to be, I want you to feel that you're coming for you, whatever you need that day.
Yeah, we'll have to yeah, Nikki's got me thinking too with what she had said. And you know, if we did a class and then maybe I do know that then maybe we could record it for the people that don't live in Bonnyville who are in the female change makers
Oh
too.
yeah, okay.
They could do it or do it through Zoom with us or something. But yeah, that would be beautiful just to try it out together. Yeah. All right, ladies, I am so appreciative of everyone being here. And again, Mandy, thank you so much for sharing with us. And I look forward to this being a beginning of our connection. And I hope that all of you have an amazing weekend. And yeah, we will be checking in soon. So take care, everyone. And thanks again, Mandy.
Thank you. Yeah,
Awesome.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much,
Thanks,
Kim.
everyone.